Good morning, everyone. We are the Group 5 and we are going to discuss about the monopoly. Monopoly is a virtually non-existent in basic manufacturing industries but was fairly common in steel, aluminum, tobacco, and other areas. The tobacco industry and the steel industry have cases that can be cited as an example. Now, it occurs most commonly in regulated public utilities in a particular geographical areas where transportation costs allow the local seller to act as monopolist within a certain range of prices. So in other words, monopoly is a market structure where a single seller or a producer dominates the entire market with a particular product or services. Next is the demand curve. The difference between a pure monopolist and a pure competitive seller lies in the demand side of the market. In our previous discussion, we recall that the purely competitive seller faces a perfectly elastic and demand schedule. The monopolist demand curve is different because the pure monopolist is the industry, its demand curve is the industry demand curve.
To calculate a pure monopolist revenue and cost data, there are some steps. First is determine the proof maximizing quantity, where this is quantity where marginal revenue or MR equals marginal cost, where it is MC. The second is determine the price. The monopolist will charge what the market is willing to pay. Second, calculate total revenue. Multiply the price by the quantity sold. Fourth, calculate total cost. Multiply the quantity on the horizontal axis by the average cost on the vertical axis. And lastly is to calculate profit. Subtract all the cost from total revenue. A pure monopolist is a single seller with a unique product and strong barriers to entry that prevent competition. They can maximize revenue by using strategies such as bulk pricing, charging lower rates per unit for higher levels of consumption. Second is third degree price discrimination, charging different prices to different groups based on price sensitivity. And the last one is dynamic pricing, fluctuating prices based on real-time demand and supply conditions. The next one is common misconceptions about monopolistic economy. Here are some examples. Monopolists can charge whatever they want. They do not charge the highest possible price, but instead maximize total profits. Total profits are calculated by subtracting total cost from total revenue. Second, monopolists are guaranteed huge profits. Monopolists can experience losses in the short term and will shut down in the long term if they are less than profitable. Monopolists are always bad. Monopolists can be beneficial in some cases, such as when free market competition would be inefficient or when prices are regulated. Second is, monopolists are less efficient and innovative. Monopolists can become compliances. The last one is, monopolists are less efficient and innovative. Monopolists can become complacent over time, but this can also lead to increased competition from new entrants. A monopoly is a market or sector with a single seller and high barriers to entry, such as high startup costs. The product sold by the monopoly has no substitutes.
The long run, as we have taken up before, the entry of new firms into an industry characterized by pure competition is easy in the long run. Entry into a monopolistic industry, however, is difficult and is often blocked either by natural or artificial forces. One of the barriers to entry into a monopolistic industry is the question of size or economics of scale. Capitalization of monopolistic industries usually runs in millions or billions of pesos. The production and eventual distribution of energy, for example, is a very expensive proposition. It takes millions of dollars, for example, to operate and maintain. In Meralco, it costs us billions of dollars to build our first nuclear plant in Bataan. Not just anyone can go into this kind of industry. Size of plant adjustment. Since entry into the industry under monopoly is blocked, the monopolist adjusts the long-run output by means of size of plant adjustment. Less than most efficient size of plant, the size of plant is considered less than the most efficient if the monopolist market is so limited that the marginal revenue curve cuts the long-run average cost curve to the left of its minimum point.
The most efficient size of plant. The size of plant is considered the most efficient size of plant if the monopolist market and cost curves such as that the marginal revenue curve hits the minimum point of the long-run average cost LAC curve. The long-run profit maximizing output is QM, at which the long-run marginal cost equals marginal revenue. At this point, the output will necessarily be at which long-run average cost is minimum. Price discrimination. In some cases, a monopolist may find it possible and profitable to separate two markets and to charge different prices for the product in each of the market. For example, moviegoers are charged different prices although they say the same movies. Orchestra tickets are paid lower rates compared with balcony tickets. Appliance prices in Metro Manila are comparatively lower compared with the prices in the province. Regulation of monopoly. As we have learned, there is a tendency for a monopolist to maximize profit and being the only one in the market. A monopolist normally would not think too much of consumers' welfare. If monopolies were not regulated, the cost of energy would be costing much more than ever before, or the cost of dextrose or other medicines would be much more expensive than prices now.
The welfare effects of pure monopoly. We can now compare two markets, a market characterized by pure competition and one characterized by pure monopoly. Obviously, from the point of view of producer, a monopolistic market would be preferred. Pure competition. In this market, prices are lower and output is higher, benefiting consumer. Both producer and consumer enjoy maximum welfare as resources are allocated efficiently. Pure monopoly. A monopolistic restrict output and raises prices to maximize profit, creating a deadweight loss, a loss of total societal welfare. Consumer pay more and get less, while producer gain higher profit and the expenses of consumer. Short-run output restriction. If all industries were initially pure monopolization of one or more of them competitive and were in long run equilibrium would reduce consumer welfare. This output restriction reduced the quantity of goods available in the market, leading to higher prices. Consumers end up paying more for less, which decreases their welfare. The reduced competition also results in efficiencies as the monopolist no longer has the same incentive to innovate or improve products. Monopolies in the Philippines. We had a pleasant experience with monopolies in the Philippines. Consumers have been complaining about the abuse committed by monopolies in the Philippines. Pressures have been exerted by concerned citizens and consumers union to make these monopolies conscious not only of monopoly profit but also of public welfare. In the Philippines, monopolies have often led to negative outcomes for consumers. These include high prices, poor service quality, and limited choices, as monopolistic companies prioritize profits over public welfare.
And that's all. Thank you for listening.